back to Little Lessons of Light. This is Cooking Magic Meals. I'm Faye and I'm here with
Lucy, resident kitchen witch / holistic plant-based nutritionist and chef for Little Lessons of Light.
So today we are doing one of my childhood comfort food favorites, which is
enchiladas.
Now, I used to eat this dish with chicken growing up, so I'm so happy to learn right now how to do a plant-based version of this dish. Am I also correct in thinking this is going to be gluten-free?
It is, just naturally so, yeah.
All right, so I will let you take it away, Lucy.
Excellent. Okay, so yesterday was Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, and we are in California here. And so I wanted to honor the Mexican tradition of Dia de los Muertos by cooking some Mexican food. If you see, I have these marigolds, aka calendula. They are edible. They are the flower of Dia de los Muertos because they are thought to have their scent and their color is thought to lure the spirits back from the dead, from the spirit world back to the living world, and so they use it in their food. They infuse tequilas with them. You can put it on your face. It's good for like skin stuff. But we're gonna put it in our enchiladas today. So, speaking to your point of chicken or meat in an enchilada, you can put anything in an enchilada. So today I'm putting roasted butternut squash and caramelized onion. You could do any vegetable you wanted in there. Shiitakes, you could do potatoes, you could do jackfruit, you could do tofu. I mean, the possibilities are endless, so feel free to interchange that. Okay, so enchilada sauce, tomato paste or tomato puree, and throw that in the pot. Nice high quality. It's purely strained tomatoes, organic. Little vegetable broth. Pour that in, and then obviously, as all Mexican food goes, it's about the spices. I might add more of this as needed, but for now, that's what's going in there.
Yes.
A whisk. Blend that up. Okay, and then for spices, I have fresh ground some cumin and coriander. That's gonna go in there.
Smells gorgeous.
Oh yeah, amazing. And then some chili powder. Okay, that's what happens when you use organic stuff. It kind of cakes because there's no preservatives to keep it from caking. So we're gonna grab a little spoon. Actually, let's grab this knife.
And remember, the ingredients list and the quantities is available at littlelessonsoflight.com, so you will be able to go shopping with that.
Yeah. Onion powder. And again, all these are to taste. So as you make your enchilada sauce, you blend it together, you taste it, see if it needs a little more of this, a little more of that, and then you add those things.
Mm-hmm.
Garlic powder. A little paprika. And then I'm putting a secret ingredient in there just because I'm witchy. That's going to be a little dash there. You don't know what that is. You should always have a secret ingredient, you know, in your cooking, I believe. Adding that little touch of blending that up. Add some tomato paste for extra tomato flavoriness. And then I brought back some mole when I was in Oaxaca a couple of years ago. And since I have that, why not use it, you know? Would you grab me a smaller spoon?
Yes.
All of these little things just give the sauce a dimension of flavor that it might not have, you know, otherwise. Fabulous. And so we're gonna let that cook down for a bit. I might add more water depending on the thickness of, because you want your sauce to be a little bit thick. The enchilada sauce. Turn that up. Turn that on might be a good idea. Okay, low. Add some mole.
So that's a low heat, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just so it can simmer and kind of get to know each other. little bit of mole because I have it. I'll blend that in.
So for those people who aren't aware, what is mole?
Mole is native to Oaxaca. There are millions of different types of mole. This one has chocolate and a bunch of spices. It's like a spicy, dense, chocolatey kind of paste. And they make a lot of dishes with mole. It just has a nice dimension of sweet and spice to it, so I'm gonna throw it in there, because why not? Let that cook, some salt. And then all that is left to do is to like build the enchilada itself, because I've already made the squash and the onion. So it's just like rolling it up, and that's gonna be an interesting little adventure on its own, because I have a whole method. Obviously, let's taste that. Have you ever made enchiladas?
No, not like this from scratch, and I would be interested to have a little bit of insight into just exactly what you did to cook the squash and the onions.
Yes, I just roasted that in the oven and then caramelized those onions on the stovetop.
How?
In a pan with some oil.
Just oil. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of salt.
Need to double check, because I feel like oftentimes I see secret little witch tips going
that's true.
on and into things, and this is the important stuff that I must know.
I can't say that secret little witch things didn't happen, but
intentionally.
I'm gonna keep building on that, because tomato is a very strong flavor, you know. So you want to really make sure your spice is making its debut, basically. So I'm just adding more and more and more. A little kick, maybe some cayenne.
So this is the same group of spices, and then you just added extra little cayenne.
Yeah, I'm just adding more and more so I can taste it and be like, oh, does it need, just like everything we do here on this show, add some, taste, add some more. Switch it up, change it up. Get that cooked down, and then so enchiladas usually, I mean, they can be filled with cheese and other ingredients. We're using plants today, so I made an almond ricotta, olive oil, and garlic kind of like sauce to mix with the squash to put inside the enchilada. So it's just almond ricotta, olive oil, a little bit of water, nutritional yeast, and salt.
Okay.
Simple. Yeah. Let's keep letting that cook down. You know, it's getting like a little bit brown on the sides, like that's what we want. Okay, so good. But no, I put too much of that. I think it's gonna be fine. It's gonna work out great.
It's gonna be perfect.
And so another little tip, when you're cooking at high heat, because we're gonna kind of par fry the tortillas before we build the enchilada, you don't want to use olive oil. Olive oil has a low smoke point. It's not meant to be cooked with high heat. If you want to retain its nutritional value and you don't want to change fats into a bad fat, olive oil is meant on low heat as a dressing, as a drizzle over. When you're cooking, and I wasn't even taught this growing up with my family, all they do is cook, and they cook with olive oil. And then when I started learning about nutrition, I took a class on oils, and I was like, whoa, no one should be cooking with olive oil. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I use avocado and coconut. They have a higher smoke point, denser fat content that stabilizes at high heats. I'm going to use that to fry that up, and then I will use olive oil as a drizzle over the top, which I brought a nice like a basil serrano olive oil infusion.
Can I ask you, what is the nastiness that happens when you heat olive oil at a high temperature, so past the smoke point?
It just changes its fat content, so it goes from a good fat to being a bad fat, basically, because the heat destroys the fats, the good fats in it.
Okay.
You know, so when you read about hydrogenated fat and oil, that's what that is. It's been altered to such a degree that its contents are no longer good for you, really.
Yeah.
It's fat content. So yeah.
Perfect.
I'll let that cook, and then I'll.
The
little more. One more kind.
So,
Yeah.
you're giving the framework and the guidelines and the superfood options, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else has to decide at what levels taste good, or they just use your framework of the ingredients list, right?
Well, the ingredients list, if they follow that to taste, you'll be fine. But the idea is like to get people to kind of show up in their own way in their food, you know? So like, here's the basis, here's what you need, it'll be good. But if you want to then get creative and throw something in, like, some mole, I have some in the fridge, or like, I mean, I guess you can't really teach that unless you just do it and then it tastes good or it tastes bad. Do you know? So like, but there are a few things where I'm like, okay, mole is gonna be good in there because it's Mexican spice and it'll be fine, you know?
And then spice level wise, this gives people options. So you may wish to utilize the ingredient list in a way where you add half, see how that spice level is tasting to you, and then decide whether or not you want to add the extra half. It means for people that do not wish to tolerate something very spicy, you have a nice mild option.
Yeah, exactly. It's coming together. Okay. Ooh, it's got some kick. We like that because with all the other flavors going on here, that will be perfect. I still want that to cook down just a teeny bit more. I just turned it up so
To a higher heat.
a little bit. Because what happens when you get it at high heat, you know that stuff sticks around the side of the pot?
Mm-hmm.
That's like the gold. You scrape that off because all the flavor is concentrated in those little thick bits. And so I always try to, you try to get them to go and then you like work them into the sauce.
That's good to know.
That's a little kitchen witch tip.
Witch tip.
So I had this idea like last minute with the sauce. But like if you didn't do this, it would be great. I just was like, let me try this. You know? Would you hand me those onions over there? Because then I can build from here.
Yes.
Let's do this and we'll get you involved.
So what's going on here?
I'm just transferring the caramelized onions to this bowl so that when we saute the tortillas,
Yeah.
it's easy access. I'm gonna add some oil. Because I'm gonna coat the tortilla and soften it up a bit in the pan with the oil first so it's malleable so that I don't break it. Because, you know, they're dry, it's just corn.
So that was a fair old chug of oil right there. That was
Yeah.
what, like a tablespoon or
Yeah.
two?
Yeah, because I just gotta coat it a little bit and warm it up and then put it over there.
It's like a full tablespoon.
Yeah, avocado oil.
Avocado oil, yes, sorry.
I might do a little coconut too. But I'm also very conscious about how much oil, how much fat I'm using in these kinds of things. So most people would put way more. Like we just made this at my brother-in-law and my sister's house, and they had a whole pan full of oil. I don't do it like that. Because again, I'm gonna be mindful of what we're putting in stuff and how much and like what do we really need, fats and such. But it is the only oil in the whole, really in the whole dish. There's a little bit of oil I use to cook the vegetables, and that's it. There's a little teeny bit in here, and not very much at all. So wait for that to melt down.
See, I'm happy. This has been news to me about being able to add coconut oil in with avocado oil and that being a great option to have a blend. And
Yeah.
I've been doing it. I've been cooking like that.
I mean, you can blend, like I was saying about olive oil and how it's more fragile and has a lower smoke point. You can add a little olive oil to an oil that has a denser fat, and it will stabilize the olive oil if we want it to. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
You're like, yeah, we've been ready. Turn this up a bit. I want to make sure the oil is hot. Okay. Stir your ladle. We're gonna ladle a bit of this sauce on the pan that we're gonna cook it with.
Oh.
Because you want everything to be really nicely coated
Mm-hmm.
with the sauce, so it doesn't dry out. Just putting it in the oven after this, and then we'll baking it. So, a teeny bit of that there, like that. And then, one of these. It could be hotter.
You have chef fingers because you just.
Everybody says that. I also have a chef mouth. I call it a Terminator mouth because I can literally reach into the oven and grab something out of the oven at 400 degrees and put it in my mouth and taste it and be fine.
Yes.
People be like, "Oh my god, it's so hot." I'm like, "Yeah, it's hot, but my mouth is fine." Terminator mouth. Get that on camera. She's like, "It's on there." So I'm just waiting for this the oil could be hotter, you know. But see, now that it's coated, I can work with it.
Okay.
So I'll put a little bit of the ingredients, just a teeny bit. A little bit of onion. And then we roll it. There's one. I'm gonna fill up this pan like that. And then we're gonna cover it all in sauce and cheese. And then we're gonna bake it.
Okay.
I mean, my hands are burning, but I'm just.
It's like Tony Robbins, you know, like the walking on fire.
I mean, if I had, I don't know, you probably have a tool for this, don't you?
You do.
Probably could use it.
I think we're all enjoying watching you
I
do it
just wanna
with
see
your
you do it.
fingers.
Okay, I'm giving you a job now, Faye.
You can use chopsticks.
I'm like mummy to an almost 3-year-old. I spend my
Yeah.
entire life telling him, get your fingers away from the stove.
Yeah.
It's very hot, you know.
So before you let your kids watch this, be like, don't do that.
Don't do this at home, kids. Don't do this at
Don't
home.
try this at home. Professionals only.
Use a utensil.
It's so funny. I'm sure if my mom watched this, she'd be saying the same thing. She'd be like, I didn't teach her that. Ow. Product that, yeah. It's just not as easy. Like, this is like so difficult.
Yeah, that's like a salad. You want to use this? Let me see.
Yeah. Not as adept with chopsticks as most people. All right. Do you want a job here?
Yes.
Would you like one?
Yes.
You're the enchilada filler.
I'm the enchilada filler. I'm very excited.
Obviously, like, I could have had more butternut squash, but you know, parcel it out enough.
For
Get
sure.
a lot of onion, and then you just wrap it.
Okay.
So by the time you wrap it, it shouldn't be too hot. Like,
says.
I've already dealt with the hot part of it. Here we go.
Production line on.
On the point, I still. You need like a professional, like Mexican grandma to be like, oh, this is how I do it. Okay, you fill that.
Perfect.
Just be mindful there's only
Yeah.
I mean, we can just get down and make some pure cheese enchiladas too after this. That's fine. To mix in. Yeah, nice job.
You're so hot. What are you talking about? You have asbestos hands.
I don't know what that is, but
How about
Yeah, they're
just a
not-
spatula?
huh?
How about just a spatula?
Oh yeah, spatula. That's probably good one. Perfect. Yes. So when you roll it, because that will open up,
Yes.
get it a little tighter. So
Okay.
you're gonna tuck it in, like you're tucking your son into bed.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, this is when it's clear I'm not
And
a
you
chef.
probably could use a little less of that. Because they're just baby little.
Yes,
you know.
yes. I was enthusiastic.
That's okay, that's broken. It doesn't matter because it will taste delightful. And so while that's sitting there, we'll just cover it in some sauce so it doesn't dry out. Because tortillas tend to dry out. But as you see, everything is pretty much cooked. So when we put it in the oven, it doesn't take that long. Finished. Once you're done with this part of the process, the oven is pretty quick, you know. Nice. There you go. Lord knows we have enough sauce for a lifetime. And you see, like, the oil is already gone.
So been soaked up by the tortillas, right?
Yeah. So, and then roll over, so that's on the bottom. What you're doing is fine. It'll work just fine. I don't know why.
See, this is how it makes a difference when you are a chef. These little tips, this is it.
I'm sure some people do it the way that you're doing it. I just know they can end up breaking up, you know?
Oh yeah.
In the thing.
Usually I serve mine and they just fall apart, you know.
Maybe because you're rolling them like
Exactly. Exactly. No, it's true.
And then we just go like that. Beautiful. Gorgeous and beautiful. Felicidades. And I'm wearing my great grandmother's apron who's passed, to, you know, represent Day of the Dead. She's dead and we're calling her into life through this apron and through these marigolds.
I love it. And we watched at the weekend the movie Coco.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna watch it again with Blaze tomorrow, I think.
Yes. It's such a
You
good
guys have
movie.
Disney. It's so good. Have you seen Coco? Have you guys seen it?
My favorite.
It's my favorite too. It's the
Yeah.
best Disney movie ever made, I believe.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Eric?
No clue what you're talking about.
It's on Disney. It's about Day of the Dead. It's a Disney movie about Day of the Dead.
It's really good.
2, 4, 6, 8. That's 10. We always freeze these kinds of things, you know. Well, I can definitely freeze the sauce. I always make a lot of sauce because imagine this is already made. Take it out of the freezer one day, and then you just do this. You don't make the sauce at all.
Yeah.
It is hot. Cover some of that with some of this. We'll cover better later, but for now, just use these. Okay, that'll be the last one with the butternut.
Yeah.
Use all of that.
Could you do sweet potato in
Oh
here?
yeah.
Yeah.
You could do black bean. You could do. I mean, possibilities are really
How
endless.
do you want this one to work out? Just
Okay.
onion, or it's a specialist now?
Yeah, that's gonna be, and we're gonna delineate. So let's move all these over. Ducks in a row. So we know these are like the first batch,
Mm-hmm.
and then this will be like start with just an onion. This will be just an onion cheese. What I'm gonna do? The cheese. So that will have cheese in it. These will just have cheese on top of it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cover those with it. And we'll just go straight with cheese and cheese. Yeah, because he doesn't love cheese. But those are gonna be Blaze's favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, do you want to turn the oven on to
Yes.
350?
Okay.
So we'll go in the oven at like 350 for maybe 15 minutes. You'll keep an eye on it. You just want to see the cheese melt. That's why you always want to have a lot of sauce because, like I said, these are porous. It's tortillas. It's corn. I really want to cover these, especially the ends, because like when they get in the oven, they'll dry out. No one likes a dry enchilada. This is a plant-based. See, Now, someone who was a brand ambassador could get us sponsored, like Miyoko's. They would love me.
You really use their stuff, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few stuff that I really like, so I'm a fan of them. I'm curious to do the marigold. I'm gonna take the marigold. I'm gonna put it inside these. Calling in the ancestors. These are like our little baby enchiladas. These are going to be like a little marigold and cheese, and I'll do only cheese. So marigolds are very calming, very astringent, antiseptic. They also, if you plant them in the garden with your other stuff, they will ward off insects.
Ooh, that's good to know.
Yeah, marigolds are very good for that. Plant marigolds if you don't want to spray insecticides. Bugs don't like them. Probably like they have like a bit of a bitter taste to them, quality to them. Maybe that's why. We'll finish this and then we'll throw that in. Okay, the rest of them are some other venture. So the skinny ones are all the cheese marigold. Marigold's gonna be good in there. I think on top of these I'll just do marigold on top. And do it as like towards the end too. Fabulous. Oh,
sorry, my love.
you're a star. I have more almond ricotta in there too. Greasy fingers.
I know.
And then I'll use the marigolds as a garnish.
And remind everybody what the nutritional yeast is good for.
In a recipe, it gives it like a cheesy flavor, and it will thicken up any kind of stew or sauce that you have. But nutritionally, it's full of B vitamins, specifically B12, and a lot of people who eat plant-based, we're not getting enough B12. So it's just good to have in your arsenal. I'm gonna do a little bit of salt on top. And then we're gonna throw those in the oven for like 15 to 20 minutes. And then voila. These look done because they're starting to bubble and smell amazing. So we're gonna pull them out. And obviously we have to let them cool because they're very hot. But I'm going to dress it with, I always like to have something fresh on my plate, you know? So, green onion. I'll put a little lime, and I'll let them like sit for a bit. And then we'll eat them. And we'll be happy. Yeah? Does that sound like a good plan, guys?
Enchiladas and happiness. It sounds amazing to me.
And to mezcal. Oh, the piece de resistance. I roasted some pumpkin seeds, and that's the marigold, the traditional flower of Dia de los Muertos. That's gonna go on top too.
Oh, look how big. Now this is just extra.
This is extra.
So
this
nice.
is Kitchen Witch me, because I had this stuff.
So you can do this, you can leave this out. It's not necessary, it's just very fancy and luxurious. And I think everybody needs a little luxury in their life sometimes. And look at this, how you can make from quite simple ingredients something amazing.
Yeah.